Hey friends, it's Camilla here. How are you doing today? Um, Happy Martin Luther King Day if you are watching this from the United States. It is Monday morning for us, and I just started mixing some colors, and I'm gonna start painting my Meet Me in Capri painting here. So, welcome to tag along for what we've got going here. So I'm just mixing two colors. So I'm going to start with the blue in the sky, and I just need to get it a little bit lighter. So what I always do is I put out my colors that I'm going to need right away, and then I pick from those colors and I create extra mixing space away from those colors so that I can keep them somewhat clean for the main part. So this is, I need a little bit more white for the sky. So I'm pulling it out and I'm creating a separate spot for that, about this one. So this is the painting we're painting. Let me show it to you. I'm sorry if the zoom is going a little bit crazy here. Here we go. There you go. So this is the Meet Me in Capri painting that we're painting. So what I did last time is I traced it. And what I did for today is I actually made the tracings in a little bit darker with Sharpie. So that's definitely something that you can do. So I'm just going to start by putting paint on the sky. Let me see, you can see that. There you go. And just covering all of that with that color that I like. And because I've traced it, it just makes it nice and easy to kind of go around. And I don't have to be perfect with it. I'm using a 3/4 inch flat brush. And so I have a really nice wide space. So this whole paintbrush holds a lot of paint. So I have a lot of paint in my paintbrush that I can use. And then at the same time, when I want to get really good and nice and snug, I could just flip the paintbrush around and just kind of make sure that I get to the edges. So it's a very versatile brush. I've painted entire paintings just with this particular brush. So that's a definite option for you. Naturally, you can paint with smaller brushes too. And I do have a few other brushes that I'm going to show you throughout our painting as we get further into it, especially when you get into smaller, narrower spaces or need to do certain movements with your paintbrush. You want to have a different option. So here we go. The nice part about painting with acrylics is once you've painted with it, once it's dry, whatever you've gone over the lines, you could just go over it again and it will cover the painting. So the big thing I want to do is I want to avoid the short lines. So I'm just trying to go really nice, long, and flowy. And we're going to add some clouds to it. So I'll just put a little bit of white in here and just do a couple of wisps of white up there just to kind of get some cloud formations. I still have blue in my brush, and that's okay. And that's just to kind of get a little bit of life. I'm adding a little bit more of the darker blue into it. Just going to do that little mountain range here. There we go. That's it. And then see how I'm doing that with the flat end of the brush. And then just kind of doing like that. I want to have that is going to be a sharper edge because of the way the cloud goes. And then the last part is I'm going to want to get the really dark blue into the water. So now I'm going to clean my brush and I have there we go, this on the edge of the table here. So, so the darkest blue here, and I can tell you when I start getting around to the Fariglione around here, the little rocks in the water outside of Capri, then I'm probably going to move over to this round brush. I think this is a number 6 round brush. This canvas that I have is a 12 by 16 because that's what I had on hand. And so I stretched the design a little bit. You have tracers if you want for all of these paintings in excuse me, 11 by 14, in 16 by 20 if you want to go big, or in I think like an 8 by 10, like a paper letter size, 8.5 by 11. So you are welcome to have those. You just go on to createwithcamilla.art and type in Capri, createwithcamilla.art/Capri is what you need to type into your search engine. And then you'll be directed to a page where you can get all those tracers and supply lists emailed to you so that you can paint your own painting if you so want to. So I want to be sure to give you some pointers as I'm painting this too. So this is kind of how I'm going around, and I'm getting to the point now where I'm going to need to use a smaller brush, or I'm going to want to use a smaller brush. I could if I really wanted to, but I like the smaller brush more for areas down here. So I'm just going to empty out my big brush with all this paint that I have in it. And then I'm going to start getting into the smaller brush, partly also because I'm wanting to add a little bit of that Laguna color, that turquoise, as I get into the waters here. I'm going to go around a little bit. Oh my goodness. See how much paint this paintbrush actually holds? It's insane how much I can still get out of it. So there we go. You know what? I'm going to paint over the sailboats because I know where they are and I can still see them through the tracing. And even if I don't, I will show you step by step how to do those sailboats. It just makes it so much easier to have less things in the water to have to navigate around. So I'm going to put a little bit of color in here. And these are those fantastically beautiful trees that we are also going to see on our trip to Italy. And especially my dream, my vision is that we will have one of my paint parties for our trip to Italy is going to be Lake Como. Hopefully my plan is to have it in Bellagio, which is sort of that peninsula that juts out into Lake Como that we're doing an optional tour to. But we are, so people can pay for it, and most of the people that I've spoken to so far that are coming on the trip, they all want to go because it's a really exciting thing in the north of Italy. So that's our first day. So we're going to take a ferry ride on Lake Como. So pray for good weather. And then we're going to get to Bellagio. And my dream, I'm going to go a couple of days earlier, is to find like a cafe or a beautiful spot or a vista or somewhere where we can sit down and we can paint the lake and these flowers and the colors and everything, and the sky and the mountains behind, and just kind of have a gorgeous Italian painting, like just a paint party. Nothing extraordinarily fancy, but just another beautiful thing to add to our memories and souvenirs to bring back home. If you think about it, how much more exciting is it going to be when you come back home and not only do you have whatever leather you've bought in Lucca or Florence or whatever other souvenirs that you might have bought in Siena or whatever, but you're also going to have at least 3 pieces of art to really remind you, and not just because you know how it is. You create an experience and you do something fun like that. You're not just looking at something and thinking, oh, I bought that at that and so shop. You're remembering that emotion and how you felt and the smells and the laughter and the sort of the cappuccino or whatever glass of wine you have when you're painting it. And so your mind just goes there. And I just can't wait to share that. I think that's going to be so amazing. So that's one of our paint parties that we're going to do. I'm still sort of planning it out a little bit. We're a few months out. We're going in September, so I'm still thinking it through, and I'm still kind of planning my way around. But I know that we're going to do a paint party in Pienza, which is in Val d'Orcia. in sort of south and sort of halfway between Florence and Rome. So like you come out of Siena in the southern end of Tuscany, and then you drive up to this gorgeous, gorgeous hilltop sort of medieval town. That sort of time forgot. And but as you drive there, you know you've seen all those paintings and those photographs and all of that where with the rolling Tuscan hills and the the houses, the Tuscan houses on the hilltops and in areas and the rows of cypresses or the jutting up cypresses that kind of stick out in the middle of nowhere and the beautiful, gorgeous lighting, depending on what time of day it is. I was like, we're going to be driving right through that, right smack through that on our way to the village that we're going to be staying in for one night. And so I'm just, we have to do a paint party there. I just can't wait. So I'm just envisioning like this 4x12 maybe of just these rolling hills and the cypresses and maybe a house if you want to, just like a small ish canvas. But I think it's going to be just amazing. And I want to speak to that actually because I have on a recurring basis. I do have people who come to me and they ask, "Do I have to paint in order to come on this trip?" Like I was just speaking to a lady yesterday, and she's like, "I wasn't going to come. My friend is a really good painter. I'm not." But I wasn't going to come because of that. It just, I was like, is it going to be really heavy on the painting? And so she and I spoke about it before she booked. She booked a few months ago now. And I said to her, it's like, I've got several people who are not painters. This is not going to be the learn to paint the Italian masters. This is a trip where you kind of add an extra dimension on to an to Italy experience because I can, and because I love that component of it, and because it just makes it richer, but it's not going to be an art class or it's not going to be a lot of theory or anything like that. I say like treat it as if it was a paint party because that truly is what it really is. That's how I want to see it. I'm not going to be teaching like insane brushstrokes or anything like that. Those are other learn to paint workshops. This is where we're going to have fun. We're creating memories together and we're just kind of adding a dimension to it. So she's like, well, that sounds great. She's like, and I've had people, I said to people, you know, if we do a paint and sip, because I'm envisioning that we're going to do that. We're staying at a vineyard in Chianti for 3 nights. Like, hello. So we're going to have a paint party there. And if you want to turn it into a paint and sip and do a wine tasting with it, that's up to you. You know, they're glad to offer that. So it's like, just sit with us and just have fun. We'll be yapping away and talking away and having fun together. And, or you can go out and you can take photography or just walk down to the village and go take a stroll or just do whatever you feel like. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to do it, but I want to offer it. So, you know, people come to my paint parties. I've taught thousands of people at paint parties and arts and crafts parties this year. And they come to my parties because they love what I do and they love how easy and fun I kind of love to make it. So I want to transfer that. It's been my dream to do that. So that's one of the things I'm really excited about. And it's not like I've done that before. I've not done the combination thereof. I've done painting adventures here in the United States with people taking them on a trip and done an experience and then painted at the same time or gone, but not a whole trip. So this is going to be so exciting. I can't wait. So, all right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by adding, where do I need to add? Not a whole lot of places, to be absolutely honest with you. So I'm going to start adding that Laguna color, that turquoise, into my dark blue. Maybe a little bit of the white as well, because it feels like it's really dark. And in the middle here, you know how like the Italian waters and the sort of tropical, semi-tropical waters, they tend to have a different color to them and in places. So I just want to grab that color. Yeah, you see that that's the color that I'm going for. And so it's going to be here and here, and it's not going to be perfect. This is not, again, I'm not trying to make it perfect. Because it's a thing, and the fun thing is, you look at this painting, it's not perfect, but you're never going to look at it this close up again. You're going to hang it on the wall and you're going to walk it past it and look at it, and it's going to be wow, I painted that. And that's what we're going for. So, if you're interested in coming on my Italy trip, because that's obviously one of the things I want to talk to you about, then you can go to bit.ly slash tell me about Italy. You can also go onto my Facebook page and you can type in like a handle, tell me about Italy, and our private Facebook group will pop up and I will admit you into that. That's where I go live once a week. Today not, because today I'm doing this, so I'm going live right here instead. But usually I go live in the group and just answer questions, talk to the folks that have already booked, and answer questions for new people who are interested in coming along. And so that's an exciting place to be as well. But just go to the bit.ly slash tell me about Italy, and you can sign up for more information, and I'll email you the itinerary, and you can find a ton of information, really useful stuff on that page. And then also that is the page where you click to pay a deposit if that is where you are in your decision-making process. Well, right now we're paying first deposits, first installments, because what I want to do is I want to make this easy for people as well, because we're going in September. So I didn't want to feel like people had to pay like a big lump sum at the one time. We have the luxury of having been able to secure the hotels and everything with a deposit. So now we can pace ourselves. So when people pay me the money, I take care of all the heavy lifting. And so you just pay me in US dollars. And if you are in Euroland, you're watching this, and you want to pay me in euros, that's totally fine. I will set that up, not a problem. And then I pay our Italian incoming operator so that they can then pay the hotels in euros. So you don't even have to worry about any currency or anything like that at this point. And because I've done this, I used to work as a tour guide in Italy. I have done this and I have traveled and I've done these things. I've done all the research. So my objective for you is just to be able to come and enjoy. And if you want to have an itinerary that's complete, like everything is included in it, you are more than welcome to, because I'm creating a package with some optional tours. And these are like my curated tours. These are tours that I want to go on. And these are areas and experiences that I want to share with you. I've either done them before or I can't wait to do them for the first time either. So there's a lot of fun things happening on this trip. So I've done all that research, and I'm working with a very, very experienced incoming tour operator in Italy. His name's Paolo, and he sits in Naples. And we chat every once in a while, and he's just a hoot. He's amazing. And so you see I'm mixing colors here now. I'm just kind of creating slightly lighter color as you come to the coast. And then it's the darkest is the furthest away. That's kind of like the only rule I'm going for here. And I'm not worried about kind of going over some of these trees and bushes a little bit, because it is going to, I'm going to be able to cover all of that up with the green when I get to that part. So that's just a really fun, nice thing to be able to do. Yeah. So, and I missed a little part there with the sky. So I'm just going to go back in here with the brush and just do that underneath the tree there. There we go. Flat, flat, flat. So yeah, so all of the things that we are going to be seeing, I've personally researched. They're my favorites. You got to remember that I did this for years when we lived in Italy. So I did tour guiding, and I put this tour together that a Scandinavian tour agency used for years and years. And I still think, I'm not sure, they might still be doing it or a variant thereof. So I cherry picked the things that I really absolutely love from that tour. And I want to put that in here. But then I made it such that I could just add things onto it that I wanted to show that I was restricted because I was working within the confines of that travel agency. So now I'm able to start up in Milan, where at the end of September, where the weather is still hopefully going to be decent, not too hot, but not too cold, like jacket kind of in the evening kind of thing, but hopefully nice and sunny during the day. I'm praying. There's never ever any guarantees. I do not control the weather, and neither do you, no matter what we think that we might have. So that's where we're at, and so I'm doing all of these things with um, one of the things that I wanted to do, and I'll finish off with this, and I'll go on to the beige probably tomorrow if I have time. The kids are actually going to go to school in the morning for half a day. We're semi promised a snow day here if you happen to watch this live. Anyway, so what I wanted to say was one of the things that I discovered for myself, being the tour guide and the tour operator for a lot of these things, is I need time to digest, and I need time to just unpack a little bit. So what I've done is I've made it so that we're staying 2 nights at every location that we're staying. Just so that we can unwind, we can unpack, and we can feel like, okay, we're getting a little bit into what we're doing here. And we're getting, you can just breathe a little bit more for some reason. And then I'm adding optional tours. So yes, you can be on the go as much as you want, or you can just relax into that place, that area that we're going to. I've made one exception to that 2-night rule, and that is because I felt like it was important for us to enjoy Chianti, important for us to enjoy Tuscany. That's where I lived for 8.5 years, not in Chianti, but just Tuscany overall. And that's one of my favorite parts of this tour. So we're staying 3 nights there because I want to be able to take a whole day tour to Florence and just, do the paint parties and all those things. And then instead of that, we're just staying 1 night in Pienza because I didn't want to add any more nights. One of the things I'm doing is trying to get the trip so that we start on a Friday, we end on a Monday. So if you're at work, you don't have to take 2 full weeks off of work. We're bookending it with weekends. All right, I have got to stop. I'm looking at my timer. It is at 22 minutes, and I want to be respectful of your time. So next time we're going to paint um, the colors of the cliffs and the sand, and we're going to work on the trees. Okay, so I will see you for part 3 soon. Thanks. Bye.